Power Thinking, Rejuvenating Your Amazing Mind training for Wednesday, May 13th, 2026. This is our 7:30 a.m. Eastern Time edition, and I'm your moderator, Stanley Green. I am joined by my esteemed co-host, who is Darren Threadgill. Darren is the executive director of the Cheney Foundation, Cheney University. And you'll hear from him in a minute or so. But of course, our goal every single week and every time we get together is to help you to build these absolutely essential skills of resilience so that when that adversity hits, it could be a minor adversity, it could be a major adversity, anything from a minor argument to a loss of a job, loss of a contract, just pure loss. You'll hear from a couple tonight where Williams had a major car accident, had other situations that has happened, but the goal is to bounce back faster than we otherwise would bounce back. Most of us will bounce back, but we don't want to spend too much time being down. So the goal, by being here and being here consistently, taking advantage of our Power Thinking app, even if you couldn't make these calls, if you're on the app, you're going to get push notifications. You're going to get messaging throughout the course of the day, every single day of the week, not just Wednesdays, but every single day throughout the course of the day. That keeps you positive and keeps you moving forward. We're helping you to retrain your brain. Today, we're going to focus on those 50,000 thoughts, which is kind of the basis for everything. Everything begins with what we are thinking. We are what we think about, right? And you've heard that. You've heard in the Bible, as a man thinketh, so is he. All right. So, but we don't just get one thought. We're getting about 50,000 thoughts, bits and pieces, thoughts every single day. 70 to 80% of those thoughts are negative or repetitive. So our job is to first be aware of those thoughts. So remember, we have these 7 skills of resilience with learning the ABCs and detecting icebergs. We've talked about that, those deep-rooted beliefs that are holding us back, challenging the beliefs, putting things in perspective, calming and focusing, and then, of course, real-time resilience. But our skill number 2, which is one of the 3 awareness skills, is avoiding thinking traps. So we have these 50,000 thoughts a day. 70 to 80% of those thoughts are negative, which means we'll be falling into traps. We'll jump to conclusions about something without evidence. We will beat ourselves up too much or personalize. And Darren probably have seen that around campus where kids maybe headed kids down after a final because they may have received a bad grade and they beat themselves up too much. And we may externalize. In case of a student, it was the professor's fault. I don't like that professor anyway. There's minimizing the positive and magnifying the negative. Oh, I got that bad grade, but you had a lot of great grades over the course of the year. There's mind reading when we think we know what someone else is thinking. There's overgeneralizing. There's tunnel vision. And of course, emotional reasoning. So those are the 8 thinking traps developed by psychologist Dr. Aaron Beck, who's one of the fathers of cognitive behavioral therapy. The focus on our thinking, the focus on our cognitions. So we shared a video with you called Observe Your Thoughts by Paul Strobel. Only 2.5 minutes, but very powerful. So we always talk about being aware, and he used a different term, that is being an observer of your thoughts, as opposed to being victimized by those thoughts. We want you to start taking control by first being aware, being an observer of those thoughts. So Darren, I want to welcome you. Thank you for joining us and being up early to be with our global audience. How are you this morning?
I'm feeling fantastic. I'm here. It's got my normal time being here, so I'm excited to be here. Always have great conversation anytime we get a chance to chat. So I'm excited about listening and participating this morning.
Fantastic. And we'll flash up some of the folks who have joined us. Feel free to write comments on LinkedIn. We're on LinkedIn and YouTube and X and Twitch and Facebook this morning. So, Darren, you're across 5 platforms and our phone lines, which is where we started with our conference call lines. We have Leslie Flowers saying good morning from North Carolina. Happy Wednesday. We have Sherry Aquari, who is joining us from Nairobi, Kenya. Good to see you, Sherry. Thanks for joining us as well. And hit that *6, folks. Love to get your thoughts about our focus for today, observing those thoughts. But first, Darren, I'd like for you to, talk a little bit about your background. And I want to share that Darren reached out to me through a mutual friend about a year and a half ago, maybe a couple of years ago, and was able over time to finally get me on campus. He invited me up to see Cheyney, and I'd never been on the campus. I was there once because I had a company that I was the CEO of a synthetic turf company, and we were looking to do, but I didn't do the full tour. And I'll share this one thing that Darren, I'll never forget. And you showed me the various buildings, and this one, the library was named the Leslie Pinckney Hill Library. And I go, Leslie Pinckney Hill? That was my elementary school and LP Hill School. And so, you get these schools, and they're, many of them are named after people, but you may not know the history of the person. And Darren shared with me that he was the first president of Cheyney University and was there for, Darren, how many years?
38 years.
38 years. He passed away in about 1960 or 61. And it was 1964 that school was built. In 1965, when we moved to the Strawberry Mansion section of Philly, that I was in the dedication of the Leslie Pinckney Hill School. And I still remember the song, Leslie Pinckney Hill, we revere you still, and honor bring to LP Hill School. And so I'm really honored that you're with us. Darren, tell us a little bit about you and what you're doing at Cheyney.
Sure, I'd be happy to. I came to Cheyney in 1970 as a student, not knowing absolutely anyone and very little about Cheyney. But when I was here, I found a school that embraced me, and I found that to be both comforting and encouraging, and excited me and made me change my career path. And I had 43 years in education, which was a tremendous opportunity for me. And quite frankly, I loved every day when I was in education. Retired twice. And then when President Walton came in 2017, our school was challenged in financial trouble. And I introduced myself to President Walton, as my older sister had been President Walton's friend in college, and her roommate actually became his wife, and her late husband knew President Walton growing up before kindergarten. So when I told him that, we kind of had an instant connection, and the president said, I said to him, what can I do to help you? He said, I need good students and I need money. So I said, well, let me put my head down and see what I could do. We were had some success. And a few years later, President Walton asked me to come back and help him with the school and the things that he was trying to implement in developing the culture that he wanted around the school and the direction he wanted to take the university in. I was hesitant because I was retired 2 times, but it was my alma mater, my community. So I said yes. And as I always often say, I never tell myself no. So I put my head down and went to work. And now I'm here working in the Cheyney Foundation, trying to help rebuild our university in every way I possibly can. And one of my main responsibilities is to build relationships, build bridges, make opportunities for the university in any direction possible. We want to get this university where it needs to be. And as eloquently as Stan once already said, we are the first HBCU in America, but I'm interested in being first on 2 lists. We're always going to be the first chronologically. I'm interested in being that other first. That first that's first in academics, first in activities, first in arts, first in athletics for our students, being the best possible school we can possibly be. And that's what I work on every day. I work on telling myself yes, telling other people yes, and hey, here's what we're going to do with this university, and we're going to win. We're going to be successful.
Great. And the first in that endowment. So you got Harvard to beat there, but you know, got to set those sights high.
That's a
So
goal.
great, Darren. Let's do this. Let's go to our subject matter, and I'm going to go to a few of our callers. Let's go to Leslie Flowers first. Leslie, thank you for joining us. Mention where you're joining us from, and share your thoughts about those 50,000 thoughts and making sure that we observe them. Well,
Well, good morning, and so glad to be here. I am in North Carolina, not too far from Raleigh, and which is the capital. And I'm so glad before we began that you brought up the study from the University of Toronto that there are actually 6,000 complete thoughts, right? And I tell you, Sammy, I did a little digging to see if I could find like the research article, and I didn't quite get there. But evidently, that is the latest. And even managing 6,000 thoughts is quite something, let alone 50,000. I can almost imagine 6,000, but 50,000 is out of range for me. So I kind of like that. About the video, the observer, it's observing yourself. He calls it the narrator. And there are actually 6 narrators. Now, I'm not telling you this to confuse you, but this is my work. We all have 6 basic fears, and they are deeply embedded through our thoughts, which are repetitive over time.
mm-hmm.
And those automatic thoughts are primarily a negative expression of a bad experience. And every time we think about that experience again and bring up that memory through imagination, we also feel that. So there is a point there, but you actually, when you know what the 6 fears are, you can actually pinpoint, well, is this about money? Or is this about self-esteem?
Mm-hmm.
So you can be an observer, and basically these, if you can imagine, these 6 basic fears each sit at your boardroom table, and you are the CEO. You're the high side. You're the side connected with faith. But it's not enough to outwit and outweigh these guys that have been around a long time. So what do? We pick them off one at a time. And that's where your work comes in with power thinking and cognitive behavioral thinking to observe, well, where did this begin? Oh,
Mm-hmm.
well, we never had enough money, and I always had to wait till my brother got his shoes. So hearing that a number of times throughout your whole life, and repeating those thoughts and being concerned about them, they make it's real. So those 6 fears, we have perfect faith in them.
Yeah.
And so that just gives us a bit more of a perspective
Mm-hmm.
in being that observer,
Yep.
or the curious observer, and being objective. So thank you for letting me share that, Stanley.
Wonderful. Thank you, Leslie. Really appreciate it. And let's go to Carla Hill next. Olu, if you're out there, you dropped off. Come back in. We'll get right to you. Carla, thanks for joining us. Mention where you're joining us from, and your thoughts about our discussion today. 50,000 thoughts a day. Welcome.
Yes, thank you, Sam. I'm from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Love the video. Just parody, and I remember I think Quiet Time now, there's a Quiet Time, but I remember being exposed to meditation where it talked about looking at your thoughts objectively, right? As they're almost outside of you as a tangible thing, and to your point of the 50,000 thoughts per day. And it's really being careful for me about what I give life to. It's one thing identifying those thoughts and owning them, but then saying, stuff like, oh, I'm not good at, I don't know, but it was good purpose to only, oh, I'm not great at technology. If I keep saying those things, it will be true.
Mm-hmm.
And I love the energy of your guest, from Cheney. Just like he says, he never tells himself no. Right, so I'm listening, and you have the right tone today. So again, thank you for this platform and the reminder, and that's how we become practitioners, right?
That's right.
Hearing it, practicing, and doing it. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Carl. I really appreciate it. Darren, what do you think about what you just heard from Leslie and Carla? You know, about these thoughts and fears and so forth that we have.
Well, it's interesting. I'm just catching tidbits of this and bits and pieces, but it's interesting. The 50,000 thoughts is a interesting concept. I'm an early riser because my mind is so busy.
Mhm.
I literally was done my walk, 2.5 mile walk this morning
Wow.
at about 5 minutes to 3. I was finished my walk.
Wow.
And my wife has often said to me, and I've been a runner before I started walking. So now my son, 46 years. And my wife has always said to me, well, how can you be up that early? What are you doing? I said, it's my time to think. It's my time to clear my head. And I say clear my head at the same time, I do realize that my mind is constantly running while I'm out there doing that walk. It's the solitude that lets me individualize those thoughts that are coming into my mind. It's those that isolation that lets me say that has become a regiment for me. Okay, this is what you're thinking, and this is what you're going to do to attack it, to go about it, to deal with it, to overcome it, to make it work, to make it turn in the direction you want it to go. And as I said earlier, I never tell myself no. There's plenty of things out there that'll tell me no, but I'm just going to keep pushing on the things that I believe, I focus on, and that are running through my mind constantly, even as people are telling me possibly no, or maybe not yet. So, okay, what can I do to overcome that? What can I do to be positive? What can I do to make this come out to the direction and the reality that I'm really trying to achieve here? So it's interesting when I'm listening to those constant thoughts, and you're absolutely right. Those are constantly in our mind, in the forefront of our mind. I need that isolations to help myself or just organize and focus better on those.
Now, let me ask you, because folks, Darren, primary responsibility is raising funds for the university. So we're going to be talking to a lot of folks. And I know he reached out to me, and it took months before I actually came up because you were so persistent. You didn't give up. It's like, okay, well, it's been a couple months, let me just drop this guy and move on to other folks. He's always there. and he wouldn't be here if he didn't reach out, a few days ago. And I was like, oh man, Darren, I'd love to have you because he's trying to get power thinking into Cheney, and I'm talking to him about various donors, high level donors. But what is it, Darren, about you that you just keep coming back?
Well, I think the mission is and the goal is so ultimately important. It's so vital to so many people, and the impact that I know that that it can have, because I've attended this university and I
Well, let's
know.
see, Darren, I'm sorry. Hold your thought because I have a gentleman joining me. He was on before. He dropped off. I want to get him before he drops off. So let me grab Oluwaseyi from Olu. Let Darren know and everyone know where you're joining us from and your thoughts about those 50,000 thoughts a day. Oh, hey, Olu, can you hear me? Olu, can you?
Crucial and fundamental to the outcome of our lives and those others that we have an impact on is discussed. I mean, it's as simple as that. So I'm glad to have made it today. And the conversation has been deeply fascinating, tending towards beneficial outcomes. And so I'm enjoying myself because I deeply believe that I'm getting value for my time. Thanks.
Olu, so you're joining us from where? Can you hear me okay, Olu? All right, so Olu had, let me tell you, he may have Olu. I appreciate you joining us, Olu, because Olu's joining us from Lagos, Nigeria, Darren, and this is the first time I've heard him speak in weeks because he has been down with malaria. And for us, we probably wouldn't make it, but when you're used to it, you're down for a while because he's been with us for a few years and gets medication, and then he's back. But this one is taking a little longer. So, Olu, we really appreciate you joining us from Lagos, and especially given that you're at the tail end of this battle. So you're not quite where 100%, but you taking the time out is greatly appreciated. So, Darren, go ahead with this persistency that you have and this resilience, and talk about, because that's what we focus on, resilience. It seems like my observation is it's kind of built into who you are and what you're about, and that's why you're successful in what you do in your position with Cheney.
Sure. As you accurately described, Stan, that I'm involved with fundraising is the primary portion of my job. And anytime you're involved with trying to encourage people to support whatever your endeavor is, you're going to hear a lot of no's naturally. Okay. I'm the kind of person when I hear the word no, what I really am hearing is not right now, not yet, not today. But I'm also hearing down the road, yes, or talk to me in a few. I'm always hearing that, and I also know when someone tells me no, and maybe they're also saying to me, I know someone else, I can't, but I know someone else that you might want to talk with, or I can introduce you to so-and-so that might be interested or in the area where you are in a better position than I am right now to help and support. So again, the no doesn't mean absolutely no, never. It means not right now. It means not this time, maybe later, or let me find out more, share more with me. So you're always looking for that opportunity. And by nature, I think I'm a pretty optimistic person. I believe in us. I believe in the future. I believe in the country. I believe in my family and those around me. And I try to have them also believe in themselves. And that's what I try to spread now. It's kind of like my code of living.
Right, exactly. So we're talking about these 50,000 thoughts a day. I'm sure that there are times when you may jump to a conclusion about someone that, maybe this person is serious and they're not interested, or, have you ever, beat yourself up too much because, you didn't get that deal done. So these are some of the thinking traps, or you minimize some of the positive and magnify from some of the negative. I'm not trying to get you to buy into these, because it could be that it's not even part of your thinking. So do you fall into any of these thinking traps from time to time, or you fall into a mind reading where you may, for some reason, think you know what somebody else is thinking on the other end of the phone? So talk a little bit about that in the capacity that you're in.
Sure. As I've matured in my life, I come to realize that how many times I was actually halting myself, how many roadblocks I was putting up for myself. I would be in the process of communicating something with someone or asking someone for something. And the words were coming out of my mouth, I could hear my subconscious telling myself, I know they're not listening to me. I know they're not being receptive to what I'm saying. And then I came to the point and I said, well, I can do better than that. I said, that's telling myself no. And I had a lot of conversations with myself, with the people close to me and my religious background, my wife and my family. And I come to understand that. And I said, okay, compartmentalize all these different things. You got this sections over here that's telling you, maybe not right now, but then you got this other here. What do you really want? And if you're going to do that, I doubt and I did a lot of coaching and a lot of teaching in my life. I doubt very seriously if those people I'm trying to communicate the success we want to achieve are going to believe me if I don't believe it myself. If I'm constantly telling myself no, well, let's build more balance in this. And quite frankly, let's go more the other way. Let's think, what are we going to, what message do we really want to put across? And if you don't believe it, no one else is going to believe it. So I constantly push the other portions and say, okay, that's a problem, but I know how to overcome that. That's a challenge I know I can overcome. That's a roadblock that I can get around. So I constantly have to say, okay, all of this is going to work. And quite frankly, I know it's going to work.
Yeah.
I am absolutely positive. I just haven't found the way yet, but I will.
Wow. That's
And
that.
if I can't find it, I know someone that can help me find it.
Can help you find it. Yeah, that's that self-efficacy. Oh, that's one of our 7 inner strengths. The belief, self-efficacy, the belief that you have control over your ability to succeed. So you hear that with Darren. We have somebody else on the line. We have Gloria Hairston said, I totally agree. No does not mean never. Resilience makes me believe that that no simply means not now. And let's go to, I think we have Caroline Zero. Caroline, thanks for joining us. Mention where you're joining us from and your thoughts about these 50,000 thoughts. Welcome.
Stanley and Power Family. I just want to say really quickly, I'm calling from Long Island, New York. Right now, Monica, I mean, this has been a notable topic, and Stanley, certainly you've been pounding this into our heads for a few years now, only for me a few years, and it's so true. But I love the case it shows that now. I wasn't struggling with it, but I'm in the middle now. I told my career I'm in sales. I was never in sales before. I was operations. And now that I'm not getting now, I am going to call back. Once in a while, I get an email back, which I take as a positive. But it's just the one person looking to
Caroline, Caroline, the connection is bad because we can't hear a lot of what you're saying. So it's kind of staticky for attendees. So maybe you can write a comment on LinkedIn and we try to catch it. Okay. All right. Thank you. All right, Caroline. Thank you very much. Caroline's joining us from Long Island. What we're going to do is kind of wrap up. I didn't know if Olu had something else to say. He's right there. The transmission wasn't good there. Olu, did you have something else that you wanted to say?
Yeah, I've thoroughly enjoyed the conversation. It's been a while. It's tended towards being significantly beneficial, and basically that is why I keep coming, whenever I can make it. The conversations always help me kind of to stretch my mind, particularly when it has to do with rethinking a lot of ideas and beliefs that I have. That is the essence. It's different when you read it from a book, which is wonderful. But when you hear people who are actually living in the world at the same time as you are, how they apply managing their thoughts, to things that they deal with in life, just as Gloria just mentioned now, that she just switched to her role and all of that. Those are real impactful, shares and stories that help one, to have that grounding, that connection, with the principles that you share. I've really been kind of down, for a while. I'm actually not in the office. That's why I'm having the internet connection issue, because it's broadband at the office. I wouldn't have all of this. So I just kept trying to come in, because I find what has been shared so far deeply valuable. All the time I keep thinking, how can we push this more to the world? Because the thing is that we have to understand that thoughts are where living actually begins. It is what influences our lives. And the interesting thing is that I think I've said this before, It's not like calling someone to help you move a furniture. Thoughts are invisible to others, even to us. So we're trying to control, we're trying to wield things that we actually cannot see. And like Leslie mentioned, some of these things are like icebergs, things that are really deep. So we can't deal with them when we have distractions around us or in our lives.
Yes.
So that quiet time, quiet space, dedicated space, because they're tough. I think
Yeah.
I've used the analogy of them being like, horses in a rodeo. Because it's like riding, a bull in a rodeo. It
Yep.
takes a while
Yeah.
to be able to achieve control. But
Great.
the thing is, I thank God that I found you guys.
Yep.
Over the years now that I've been coming in here, I've developed a higher level of mastery, and it's impacted my life. And I think you, of all people, is the witness to that. You can testify to that. I'm not exactly where I want to be, but I'm definitely not where I used to be.
Great.
And that's because I'm paying more attention to my thoughts.
Excellent.
They can be very sneaky, very sneaky.
Yeah. All right,
They come
Olu.
out of habit.
Great. Well, look, we're going to wrap it up, and I thank you for your perspective from Lagos, Nigeria, and you sound a lot better, and I'm really happy that you're recovering. You seem to get that like maybe at least once a year in a malaria, and I know it's a nasty thing, and we appreciate your resilience and your contributions to what we do. And by the way, Darren. You want to connect with folks overseas, let me know. Olu in Nigeria, share your queries with us from Nairobi, Kenya. And, these folks, they work virtually and they can add great perspectives to what's happening with the students at Cheney University. So we'll keep that in mind. Any last words there, Darren, as we move? We're in overtime, folks. Thanks for sticking with us. We're going to be wrapping up right now. And how can folks get in touch with you to help Cheney University?
Oh, that's really easy. Real quick, I want to say when you said those two people that were on from across the seas, first thing that came to my mind, hey, how can we have a student exchange for a semester, for a year, what have you? That'd be a great experience for both ends. How to get in contact with me is very easy. You can call me at Cheney University, and the direct line to my desk right here where I'm sitting now is 610-399-2640. Darren Threadgill, Executive Director of the Cheney Foundation. Really simple, 610-399-2640. I'm here early in the morning, at least by 7 every day, here till at minimum 3 o'clock. I'll stay as late as I need to. If you're going to connect with me and you have time later, or you can call me at any time, I'll be happy to talk with you, bring you to the campus, meet you anywhere. Let's talk Cheney. Let's talk students. Let's talk winning.
That's fantastic. We have another person from outside of this country. We have Joy Langley, who's a therapist in the UK. So I'm going to bring, we're in the overtime, folks. And so if you have to leave, thank you for joining us. And remember, since we spend all of our time thinking these 50,000 thoughts a day, we must think with power and utilize power thinking. So Joy, I noticed that you did join us here. I'm going to give you an opportunity to say a few words from the UK, where it's in the afternoon. Welcome. Where exactly are you in the UK? And your thoughts about these automatic thoughts we're discussing.
Yes, Stanley. I hope you can hear me.
Yes.
I'm from a place called Buckinghamshire, which is just outside of London. So, but it's the UK. It's easy to say I'm near London because it is actually near London. It's a county that, like the States in America. It's not a state of the UK. I think the conversation today has been really enlivening, invigorating, inspiring, because I'm actually preparing for a webinar this afternoon. And some of the ideas that came up were just like perfect timing, absolutely perfect timing, especially the last gentleman who spoke about rearranging the furniture in the room. I had an inspired thought this morning. I rearranged my webinar this morning based around that exact thought.
That's great. That's fantastic. And Joy, by the way, everybody, is going to be with me next Wednesday, the 20th, 7:30 a.m. So of power thinking as well. So join us. You'll hear from Joy next week. All right, Darren. So again, thank you so much for investing the time, and thank you all for being with us. I'm going to close out on the phone lines. And thanks for staying overtime. Sharon Smalls and Carla Hill and Claudia Nesbitt, Farrell and Dove, Calvin Patterson. We have wireless caller, Ed Samuel, Dr. Randall Ekman, Peg Kowalski, Gail Berger. I mentioned Joy Langley, Layla Llewellyn from out in California, Linda Gray, good to see you as well. Sherry Aquari, you did make it on. And Sherry, by the way, is another person who, Darren, we'd like to get you connected. She's in Kenya, in Nairobi, Kenya, in East Africa. So we Olu, West Africa, Sherry, East Africa. We have Joy in the UK. We had David Jones was going to join us from Bangkok, Thailand. He's an AI specialist. So we'll get you connected with all our global audience here and the folks from all over the country. Folks, take care. Thank you very much. Make sure you join us at 9:30 p.m. For a real live sharing of resilience for folks who are under 30 years old. And Darren, thank you again for joining us. And we will hang in, well, not hang in here, but we're going to join over Zoom to have a further discussion. All right, take care, everybody. Make it a great one, and we'll talk soon.